Hello everybody, I'm Doodlemans86 and today I'm going to be reviewing the Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire Godzilla RC walking figure. So this guy was released in Target a few weeks ago and I actually found him just a few days ago. So I'm really happy to have found this guy and he's really cool. He's one of the coolest Godzilla figures we've gotten thus far. So let's start this review and find out why he's so cool. And before we get to the figure, let's just start out with the box. So as you guys can see, this is one big figure and one big box. So much so that even all the way back, you can't really see everything. So I apologize for that. This is like the biggest thing I've ever reviewed on the channel thus far. So yeah, here's the box. As you can see, this guy's still in his box because it was so nice I bought it twice. And here it is. As you can see, the box tells you what you can do with the figure, and you have this nice render of Godzilla. Looks really nice. I think that's the best render thus far. And here we have the back, looking really neat with the yellows. And then you have all the actions listed right there. A really neat looking box, and as you can see, here's our figure right here. So yeah, let's just move on to the figure. So I'm going to do this like any other figure review, but after I'm done with the basics, I'm going to go over all the instructions and all of the good stuff with the manual and stuff. So I'll go in depth to that later and what he does. But right now, let's just take a look at the actual figure. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but by my setup, I am really hunching my back over the table right now. And as you can see over here, his tail is touching the wall. So, oof, this is a big fella. Okay, let's just start the sculpt and paint details. So one interesting thing about this guy, which I don't think is a surprise, is that he's made out of rubber. So he's very squishy in the chest, the arms, the hands, a little bit of the face, but there's a lot of hardness there. So you're not really going to be able to squish that. But the sculpt is really great. So if we take a look at the face here, keep in mind that this is all rubber. All the sculpted details are very nice. The spikes are actually kind of spiky, but they don't hurt because it's rubber. And the details are really nice. I mean, just look at him from the face front. Such a beautiful face. As you can see, even the teeth are sculpted, but there is no teeth paint, which is fine. He has a translucent tongue with fleshy pink membrane, which is really nice. You have the gills. And this was actually our first look at the new design. This is a first figure we got. And I really do like the design. This one is a lot closer to what we see in the trailer with the pink spines and the black skin, and the spikes on the armor plating jut out more, which I think is really accurate and really nice looking. And he has a huge chest. I really like everything about this design except the slim waist. I kind of would have liked it if the chest was, well, actually, we haven't even gotten a good look at the new design, but yeah, I think that's the only thing that bothers me. But besides that, I really like the rest of the design. But he has a really huge chest. And the rubber is black with gray dry brushing, which looks really cool. So it's not just the black color. Here we have his huge arms. His hands are really big. They're like the size of his head. Really cool looking sculpt. It's really neat. And he has the elbow spikes, which looks so cool. You have the rest of the scales, and the legs are hard plastic, but they look really nice. Look really great. It's a fantastic sculpt and paint. And then if we take a look at the spines here, they are a translucent pink color. They look almost pearlescent. I really love that look. It's really cool. I love the pink they used for the spines. And he's got a lot of veins going on in there. And they just feel so smooth, and it's just so cool. They look like crystals. He looks like he has crystal spines, and that's really awesome. Here we have the tail, really huge, and at the tip, it gets a lot softer, and we have the tail spikes, which aren't as big as the Playmates figure, so I'm wondering what they're going to look like in the film. But yeah, overall, it's a really great sculpt and paint. It's so good. It's just really good for what the figure is, and they really went all out with it. I do love the sculpt and paint. It looks really great. It's a really nice looking Godzilla figure. There isn't articulation that you can move per se. So he does move, but this isn't like an action figure where you can put him in a pose and keep him that way. So he moves here at the upper body. That moves. When he is activated, the legs move. And the toes here, the side toe and the big front toe are on a hinge that go up and down, but they don't stay in that position. It's just so that when he walks, they don't, get their paint or sculpt scratched. Here at the bottom, we have some wheels on the feet, really big ones, and then on the tail, so that when he moves, the tail moves with him. And there are a few cuts in the tail, specifically here, for a swivel, so when he moves, you can move that around. So yeah, he does have articulation, but not articulation that you can mobilize yourself. So really great. You'll see it in action in just a few moments. So without further ado, let's take a look at the quote-unquote accessories. So we have a dropper, which you need to use to drop water in him, and there is also batteries included, and it tells you which type of batteries you need at the bottom of the box when you get this guy. So basically what you want to do is, this is for the mist effect, aka the heat ray. So what you want to do is just take out, oh, there's some water. So you want to plop this spine out and then take as much water as the dropper lets you, and then just put it in there like so. Just drop it in and then close the spine, and then you will be good to go. And actually, I didn't even talk about that, but I like how they implemented the hole to be a spike. That's a really cool detail. It doesn't look out of place. It looks very nice. So kudos on them for that. So yeah, there's the dropper for you. And then here we have the controller, which is in the shape of Godzilla's foot with the scales as well. Here we have 4 buttons. Light, which will blink on and off depending on what you're trying to do. And here in the back we have the battery compartment for when you need to change the battery, as well as a few screw holes. So here we have the manual. So usually I don't go over manuals with figures, but with a guy like this, I think it's important that we do. If you want to take the time to sit down and read it, if you get it, then you can learn a lot about the figure, and if you're having any problems with it. But I'll just briefly go over the contents of this little manual. So this is for any safety tips you need, all the information regarding the batteries and the cleaning instructions. So here it is for that. And then for this page here, we have like the controller, how you put the batteries in the bottom of Godzilla. So that's very good to know. And they include a visual, which is really nice. And here it tells you how to turn it on, play with it, and how to turn it off. So I think that's really nice. I will explain it regardless in just a few moments. So, and then here in the back we have the heat ray and how you do it, which I just showed. And here's how to clean it if you need to see that. And then troubles you may have with the figure. So in case you have troubles, here are some solutions. And then of course, if none of this is working, you have their information right here if you want to call them. So yeah, I just think it's nice that they included this and have lots of answers and tips in here. So again, kudos on them. Great job, Jada Toys. That is excellent to know. So the moment you all have been waiting for, it is time to turn Godzilla on. So how you do this is that at the bottom of the tail, we have a on and off switch. And what you want to do is turn it on. And when he does, oh, interesting. He already moved on his own. He hasn't done that for me before, but as you can see, he will start blinking on and off. Take the controller, press a button, and if the light turns on, that means you are connected. If it stays on, you're good to go. So if it turns off, that means the connection probably failed, or you can try again. So I'll go over what each of these buttons do in just a moment. So let me just back up before I do. So here I'm very backed up, as you can see. I'll go with the forward button, which is the left one. As you can see, he does move forward with the wheels, and he has a little stomping sound effect, which I just think is really nice because, that just adds to the realism. I'm happy they included that because now it just sounds like Godzilla stomping around. So here is to the left. So sweet of Godzilla to walk towards the camera, isn't it? So I'm just going to put him back and show the rest of the functions. And here he is going to the right. Also, you cannot go forward and press left or right while doing forward, or if you're going left, you can't press forward. Just thought you guys should know that because that is important. To do the little tail swagging action, all you gotta do is just press left and right, like playing Smash Bros. So all you gotta do is this. so nice of Godzilla to smack the controller like that. So that's how you do the swiping tail action. The roar function is the big button on the back on the right, so pressing it will enable him to roar. It is a beautiful, majestic roar, and I love how loud it is. It's so threatening and intimidating. I just love that about this figure. And the best part, the heat ray. So I'll do it once with lights on, just so you can see, and then one with the lights off. So the back will light up, and the rest is history. Before I show it off with the lights off, I just think it's really impressive that even with the lights on, you can still see the mist come out of his mouth, even on camera. So again, just kudos on Jada Toys for doing such a fantastic job. I have to say Jada Toys did a fantastic job with this whole movement system, the lighting, the roar. It's beautiful. It's so well done, and it's also easy to understand and really easy to control, and it just looks so good. Props to Jada Toys, because this is just spectacular, amazing. So to turn it off, all you gotta do is you gotta flip the off switch on Godzilla's tail, and the connection will basically disconnect, and the controller after some time will turn off on its own, which is weird that it's not labeled in the instructions, but yeah, that's how you turn it off. So moving on to the sizes and size comparison, he is bigger than my ruler, surprisingly, but he does stand above 12 inches, basically 12 and a half, almost 13. And the evidence is definitely there when I compare him to the 12-inch Playmates figures. Or, sorry, 11-inch, technically. So here he is next to Kong, which I think he stands very well next to. So there's Kong, who is the smaller of the three, hint hint. And then here is Godzilla next to Godzilla. And as you can see, he is slightly taller than the Playmates one. So he is definitely above 12. And I say he's 13 inches, but he's almost halfway there. So now let's move on to the size comparisons with a few Playmates figures. He doesn't scale with the Scar King or the Godzilla, but he does stand well next to the Kong. So give or take, you could just keep the Kong and this guy. And here are a few other Playmates figures from the new Empire and Godzilla vs. Kong. Really sweet to see them all together. Just cool that we have a lot of variety with the Monsterverse figures. Here are a few Monster Arts and Haya figures, which also look pretty great next to him. And then here are some few random figures in my collection. So I have to say, out of what we've seen so far and have gotten, this is definitely the best figure we've gotten. I don't know what's going to be made in the future, but this guy for sure is going to make it to my top 10 list this year, because he is a work of art. He is beautiful. He's fantastic. The sculpt and paint on the rubber is really great. The spines look excellent and crystal-like. The size and weight is just so good, and the movement smooth, and the paint and the lights and sound, the mist, the whole system of how to recharge him and how he moves is just so well done, so easy to understand, and it's just so great in general. He's just an excellent figure and one you will have a lot of fun with. He's definitely a creative figure, and he's really nice to have. He's just so sweet. He's just so good. He's so fun to have. He's just really fun to mess around with. And with all those functions, I'm sure you will never get bored. At the price of only $60 at Target. You know, you'd think a figure this big would go for higher, but it's not a bad price for what you're getting. And I give them a round of applause because this is an excellent figure. I highly recommend picking it up because it is an excellent figure to have in your collection. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.